Welcome back inside the Chamber of Truth with your co-host Leek and Josh. We are back after a little bit of a hiatus. I apologize to the fans that the Madman was busy doing his battle rap exploits. You know what I'm saying? But we back here talking the sport of boxing with you with some content. We want to start off by revisiting what happened about a week ago. William Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer Part 2. Part 1 was obviously a great fight, which is what warranted the rematch. And William Zepeda edged it out again. He was able to squeak by with the decision in both bouts. They have now went, was it 22 rounds they went total? And Zepeda, with his pace, was able to come out with the decision in both. But Tevin Farmer put up a hell of a fight both times. So I'm going to start with you, Josh. What's your take on this rematch fight and just overall the series between the two?
First and foremost, I like the second fight being made, to be honest with you. The first fight was very close. A lot of people thought Tevin Farmer won that fight. And so, and that was back in, Rita season back in, that was like November 16th on Latino night in Saudi Arabia. So it's kind of cool. Why not run it back in Cancun? You know what I'm saying? And for Tevin Farmer at the stages he's at in his current career, I personally think this was, why not? Another main event fight. He's going to get paid well. And it was a great fight. It's just, in my opinion, I think Zepeda did a little bit more than edged. I thought Zepeda was just not clearly outworking it, but he was just putting a lot more pressure on Tevin Farmer. It looked like he had been training for, Tevin Farmer's style. But to Tevin Farmer's credit, he was still pot-shotting, hitting him with a lot of solid shots. I still thought he hit him with more solid shots than Zepeda really hit Tevin Farmer with solid shots. But at the end of the day, Zepeda and just his relentless pressure that would break down 99.99% of the boxers in the current landscape and his division that Zepeda would face, it was just, at Farmer's age, honestly, is kind of amazing if you really think about it, especially the 12th round. Farmer almost damn near stopped or dropped Zepeda. And that was very, very, it was a very, very entertaining fight. But it's just, in my opinion, Zepeda put a little bit more of a stamp on this, on this fight than he did in the previous fight.
Yeah, I thought it was dope for Farmer to get the opportunity to have a rematch.
Absolutely.
Obviously, in the first fight, he was able to secure a knockdown, which, is what a lot of people thought skewed the fight in Farmer's favor. So it was cool that they at least gave him the opportunity to get that shot again. This time around, he obviously didn't get a knockdown, but still put up a good fight. There's still some people out there that would debate with you that this fight was closer than you kind of just described it as.
Absolutely.
Some people have Tevin Farmer still should have came out on top in this one, but unfortunately for him, he is the B-side fighter in this scenario, and those decisions, if they're that close, a lot of the time you can't expect them to go to the B-side fighter. And unfortunately, in this situation, Tevin Farmer just falls, in that category, and Zepeda moves on. Another, good high output, decent performance from him, and now Oscar is saying, and Shakur that Shakur Stevenson is next for William Zepeda. Oscar says a lot of things. Promoters say a lot of things. That's their job, is to promote, to talk. Shakur has also responded.
This better be the next fight, dog. No, because we didn't been hearing about this Zepeda and Shakur for the last 2 years. Everybody, with all due respect, William Zepeda is 33-0. How many KOs?
Quite a few. 33-0 with 27.
He's 33-0 with
27
KOs. That's a very high knockout percentage. And to be honest with you, he's been the consensus #1 contender at lightweight, 135 pounds, for the last year and a half, to be honest with you, across all 4 sanctioning bodies. And that's the IBF, the WBA, WBO, and the WBC. So
you mentioned that his pressure style of fighting would be trouble for 99% of fighters in his division. You think Shakur would have trouble with that?
No, absolutely not. With all due respect, I think Tevin Farmer, if he was 25, 28, I think Tevin Farmer probably would have beat him the first fight, to be honest with you. But with all due respect, with Shakur Stevenson and his distance management, his fast footwork, quick twitch, athletic ability, the fact that he has a jab and, like I said, can make you miss, I think Shakur, I'm not going to say would have an easy night. I'm just going to say I think that would be a good style for Shakur to showcase his skills in front of and with a great opponent. Honestly.
I agree with that. I think it's a fight that Shakur needs for him to get the credit that he deserves as a technician in the ring, because when you're a fighter who's not known for knocking people out and just being a showstopper, you have to have elite level competition across from you for the audience to give you your credit.
And William Zepeda is that guy. And William Zepeda, the way Styles make fights at the end of the day, they've been saying that for since the beginning of time in the sport of boxing. So I think that style that William Zepeda has, that front forward pressure, William Zepeda does have some speed, has power, does have coordination, and he takes shots. He has a chin. So he's not going to stop coming. And the thing is, we've never really seen Shakur against that kind of an opponent. So we would be very interested in seeing how, you know what I mean, how that fight would happen. Like I said, style makes fights, but it's time to make the fight, man. I'm tired of waiting and hearing, because Zepeda's made multiple excuses. The last excuse Zepeda gave him was that he was going, you know what I mean, he talked about, you know, he had a kid, he was going to spend time with his kid, and then a week and a half later he signed a week and a half later he signed a contract to face Tevin Farmer. So it's like, come on, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's a sport of boxing. We know a lot of things happen, and now Shakur came out and said that he's already agreed. And then now, just yesterday, Shakur is saying that the original offer that Turkey presented is less than what it was supposed to be. So now he's waiting on renegotiations before he confirms it. So, you know, now we got to go through this cycle again to see if it gets made. But this is the business of boxing, and it's always going to be there to rear its ugly head when it's a fight that we the fans want to see, and the business got to make sense for the fighters.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that.
I agree with you. I want to see it next. I think it should be the next fight for both of them. But
100%, bro. It has to be the next fight for both fighters. If not that, we all know Gervonta Davis is locked up with Lamont Roach. And Gervonta Davis better not go nowhere from Lamont Roach, by the way. But that's not the subject.
Oh, so now you want him to rematch him?
You can't get a draw with Lamont Roach. What did Mayweather do? Anytime he had controversy, he never had a draw with nobody. But
you see what's going on here, fans and listeners of the Chamber of Truth? Do you see what's happening? Last time we spoke about this subject, and he said that rematching Lamont Roach is the last thing that Tank should do. He said he should go after the great Vasyl Lomachenko. He said that he should go after another fight.
I've had a change of heart, but like I said, that's a subject for another day.
Okay, we're not talking about that subject. He admitted to his change of heart, and that he was incorrect in his first take.
I'm a man of integrity. A man of Christ is always a man of integrity.
All right, we're going to let him slide since he has admitted to his sin. We're going to move on to the 147-pound division, because we have the biggest fight, in my opinion, at welterweight since the Spence Crawford fight.
Absolutely.
Which is a unification for Amantis Stanionis and Jerome Boots Ennis to unify at 147. Now, this is the first time in Jerome Boots Ennis' career that he has had the dance partner similar to what we just talked about with Shakur would be with Zepeda.
Absolutely.
He's had the dance partner that's going to validate his skill set if he's able to pull off this win.
And the
same can be said for Stanionis, too. This is a step up in competition for both of them.
This is what you mean step up in competition. This is champion versus champion.
Absolutely.
This ain't step up in competition. This is champion versus champion. This is what they supposed to do. And you got to give them both credit for signing the dotted line.
This is a fight I've been waiting for a long time.
Absolutely.
Stanionis has been waiting for a fight like this for a long time. He's been dancing around with Virgil Ortiz trying to get that fight made for years, and it just wasn't able to happen for one reason or the other. So now he got his opportunity. So I know you thoroughly. You're a fan of Stanionis.
I'm a big fan of Stanionis.
Think he actually does have a good chance to win this fight.
First and foremost, Stanionis has a very good chance to win. For people that don't understand, Stanionis has a very good amateur background. He comes from Lithuania. Which is, if people don't really know, that's an Eastern cold European country that is hard and cold, but has a very good amateur system down there for boxing and martial arts too, by that matter. But Imantis Stanionis is a 2016 Olympian, and I believe he's a medalist if I'm not mistaken. But he's a very educated fighter, very schooled. He uses the jab to set up everything, has a very good stick that Boots is going to have to get past. Boots has never really faced anybody that has a schooled jab like Stanionis has never really faced anybody with the technique that Stanionis has. Like, Stanionis has good distance management too. He hits hard. He has good defense. He's defensively responsible. He can take a shot or two. He likes to fight. He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside. He can box you or he can fight you on the inside. I think this is the most talented, schooled, and skilled fighter that Boots is going to have to face. And with all due respect, the last person that we saw that was highly skilled himself, but not on the level of Imantis Stanionis, was Karen Kajukajakian. I don't know how to say the nigga's last name.
Karen Chukajian.
Yeah. Karen was doing some shit, but at the same time, I know Boots was taking more risks with Karen because he knows Karen wasn't going to knock him out no matter what he got hit with. He's not gonna do this same. He's not gonna make the same mistakes with Stanionis, because Stanionis has punching power. And the thing is, Stanionis is a very worthy opponent, because Stanionis has fought some very tough fighters. First and foremost, he fought Radzab Butayev. A lot of people don't know who that is. Radzab Butayev beat I think what's his name? His last name was James, but he beat James for an interim title at welterweight. Radzab Butayev was supposed to be Demontis Stanionis. Demontis Stanionis and Radzab Butayev, which was a great fight. I encourage everybody to go on YouTube and watch that fight. I still watch the fight. It's a wonderful fight. Demontis Stanionis had a rough and tough, rugged fight with another skilled, slick Russian and came out with it. Came out with a decision. It looked very good. Had great cardio, had great jabs, had great right hands. Just looked great in school. Just looked like a true professional fighter. And then he fought Gabriel Maestre, who is a 2016 Olympian himself and is a very highly rated contender. So he's fought in two highly rated contenders. And in my opinion, Jordan Ennis has fought Roman Villa, and a couple other, mid-level fighters but aren't really world class.
Yeah, David Avanesian and
David Avanesian is world class, but David Avanesian is, for a guy like Boots who's already too big for 147. Come on now.
But going back to everything you just said about Stanionis as a fighter, I think you can duplicate that and say it the other way around too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Stanionis, like you said, may have a couple people on his resume that are a bit higher level, but as far as the skill set, he has all those same things you just mentioned. Can fight inside, outside, has a nice jab, can counter punch.
Same thing with Boots.
Can dodge. He can do all of that. He has power in both hands. Can switch.
Boots just does it with more speed, power, a lot more athleticism. Boots, yeah, absolutely.
I'm personally going with Boots in this fight. I might even put some money on it. I will be watching for sure. I've been waiting for this fight for a long time, so. The welterweight division needs this fight, man. Like I said, I think this is the biggest fight at 147 since Spence Crawford. They need something like this to get the division back going. Welterweight is supposed to be a glamour division of the sport. These are the biggest guys who are punching, with that size of glove on. These are guys who are supposed to be knocking people out, with speed,
Facts.
have a combination of speed and power, and be an entertaining division. And I think Boots and Stanionis both have the ability to be that type of fighter. So the winner of this should come out and really take this division by storm. And immediately following this, immediately following this fight, I want the winner fighting Brian Norman immediately.
Now, Brian Norman looked amazing against Derek Cuevas. Go ahead and set that up for me.
Yeah, Brian Norman just coming off of his win, a title defense against Derek Cuevas, March 29th. Brian Norman's now 27-0 with 21 knockouts. He was able to secure that victory. How many times he knocked him down, dropped him
he dropped him a couple times, yeah.
Yeah, it was a great performance by Norman. So, yeah, go ahead.
All I got to say is Brian Norman is ready for Boots. Or Demontis Stanionis. Whoever should win. What do you mean to do what? To unify.
Oh, okay.
Brian Norman is the WBO champion at 147 pounds and looked amazing against top-tier contender Derek Cuevas. Mm-hmm. Derek Cuevas was 27-1 with 19 KOs, and Derek Cuevas himself is a very good fighter, a top-tier contender. Brian Norman completely immobilized him with a jab and a left hook, and that was just one hand. Knocked him down and knocked him out with a jab. A straight right with a jab and a 2-1. That's a combination a lot of fighters know. That's like I said, Brian Norman just comes from a family of fighters. He knows how to fight. He's very technically sound, very technically savvy, very high boxing IQ. His father it was a former high-level professional. And like I said, man, I really do think Brian Norman's going to be set up for success. And like I said, he did exactly what I argued with y'all. He didn't want to fight Boots first because guess what? He going to let the other birds scrap. Whoever has 2 titles, guess what? I'll take the third. Sweep that, and then we can unify for the full thing with Mario Barrios.
When you get to him, you're going to get dropped just the same way. Can't wait for it.
Repeat that?
Get to him when you get to him. You're getting dropped.
Brian Norman.
Yes, by Boots.
I may take Brian Norman over Boots.
That's good for you, but I'm taking Boots over Brian Norman.
And I understand that, but you wanted them hype.
By knockout.
You wanted them hype babies.
By knockout.
You said the same thing with Karen Kajugadajian twice.
I didn't say that.
I'm not.
I know who Karen Kachukadashi was.
Yeah, but you are like a casual. You know boxing, but you're like a casual. You follow the hype train.
That's fine. You can call me what you want to call
just
me.
Like Jaime, just like Jaime Munguia and Bruno Soache.
I am 30% casual, 70%.
I know that,
and that's fine. The casual side of me.
And I get it. You must have the casual side, but that wasn't me from child.
Well, you the one sit up here getting upset that the Zepeda Shakur's fight not being made as a casual would.
It's going to be made.
You know the business of boxing. You have to be patient with it.
I know the business of boxing, but you have to realize I've been fresh. How old am I, Malik? I'm 31.
Yeah.
I've been frustrated by the business of boxing for 30 years. 30 years. That's correct.
I've been frustrated by the welterweight division for at least 2 years, if not more, because I was frustrated even before the Bud Spence fight.
I wasn't, because they were holding up the whole division. Everybody knew that was going to happen.
Exactly. I'm saying I was frustrated.
And that's fine. And that's fine.
I was frustrated with that division for years.
All we had to do, I've been through this before. All we had to do was just let the fights play out. Let the fighters pick up the belt, then the interest will pick back up. I already knew that. They just had to let the fighters fight. It has picked up.
Where?
Mark, what are you talking about? Jerron Ennis for Stanionis.
If this fight may bring the interest back.
Brian Norman, they're going to have a great fight.
Ain't nobody interested in Brian Norman right now.
After what he just did?
He ain't had no interest yet.
Did you
We need more.
Tell the fans, did you watch the fight?
Yes, I seen the fight. Highlights.
Highlights.
I told the fans I've been busy. I've been out of town. I'm all battle rap.
I don't want to hear.
I don't want to hear no excuses. I've been standing in front of opposition
myself. When you're
myself.
in that ring and you get your ass beat and your ribs broken, you ain't got. I don't want to hear nothing. But I've been busy. I'm gonna beat your ass.
So when the last time you was in the ring?
I don't need to be there. I'm a student of boxing.
You see, when we get into this part of the show, this is where I know I need to cut the camera off, y'all. But we did get a couple good segments out of that for y'all. So we welterweight division is on the rise. Hopefully, this fight this weekend gotta live up to it. Stanionis boots deliver for the fans.
Tell the people where you gonna be this weekend.
I'll be in Houston. I will be.
It's gonna be rocking in Houston.
Again.
Absolutely.
But I will be watching the fight while I'm in Houston. Otherwise I would have tried to go to Atlantic City to see it in person. But
me too. I agree.
Yeah, but so I'll be tuned in for that fight. Hopefully, we get some good action in a good matchup.
We're gonna have a huge fight party in Houston. Everybody gonna slide through the Airbnb.
Tell the people where you gonna be.
We got food. We got everywhere.
Tell the people why you're not coming to Houston.
We got wings. We got pizza.
He ain't even gonna be there,
We got
y'all.
free food. We got. I know Texas ain't legal, but we from Cali. We got
we'll
that.
We'll be back next time inside the Chamber of Truth. Don't worry about what he's talking about.
Come through. I'm gonna slide everybody the address in Houston. Y'all slide through. We gonna have a huge fight party.